Hi, I'm Romana and this is the Versatile Artist. And I want to start today's video with a quote from Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love or The Big Magic, two very inspiring books. And yeah, let me just read it for you. I never promised you I would be a good writer. I just said I would be a writer. This book is as good as I can make it. I'm not going to grave with 75 pages of an unfinished novel in my desk drawer. This book is going to be finished at the level I can do it. And that's all I have for you. A beautiful quote. It resonates so much within me. It's from a podcast she did with Russel Brand on his podcast Under the Skin. By the way, a fantastic podcast, really recommendable. And the reason why it resonates with me so much is because perfectionism has really been an issue in my life. It has been quite an obstacle very often. I mean, we like to believe that perfectionism is a virtue, it's a strength, but I have come to the conclusion that it is very often, or always, we could discuss that, the opposite. How often is it the reason we don't get things finished, we don't get things done, or we don't share them because we think it's not good enough, we're ashamed of it, we fear that people could say, oh, but this part is not right there, or it could be done differently, da-di-da-di-da. Yes, but if everyone was thinking like that, how empty would be our world. Other people don't know what I mean with perfectionism anyway. They can't look into my head and they might have their own ideas of things and how they should be done. But that doesn't mean it has anything to do with the way I can do things and how I want things to be done. So, what is perfectionism really in general? I think what I have also discovered over the years that perfectionism is sometimes mistaken with striving for excellence, which is not a bad thing at all. Because it comes from a place of love, it comes from a place of self-care. When we try to become better versions of ourselves, that is because we want to care for ourselves. We want to make sure that it's things are better for us in life. But perfectionism comes from a very different place. It comes from a thought that says, I'm not good enough. My work is not good enough. And that in itself is very destructive because it throws us into a circle of only seeing the flaws, never feeling that it is actually finished, never feeling it is good enough. And rather than helping us moving forward in any way, it gets us stuck. It's like roadblocks that are falling on the road in front of you and you hit it full frontal and then you are suddenly totally blocked creatively. Creativity needs to flow. It needs the allowance to make mistakes because that will actually create something new. That will make that process possible, that you make something new. If you are trying to do something you've never done before, and yes, you could fail. But if you want to do something for the first time and you want to do it perfect, then you're bound to fail. There's no way around that. So, of course, what I'm not wanting to say here is that when you, for example, write a screenplay and you use the very first draft and make a film out of it, that this is the way to go. I mean, screenplays need a bit more work. They need a bit more refinement. They need more than a draft. And so does a novel or a painting. All of these things need some kind of refinement. But only go to the level that you can achieve at this point when you're working really hard on it. That's what I mean with that. It's not about trying to achieve something that you can't do at this point, even with your most ambition. Because that will just frustrate you, and you will not end up at the point where you can share your work ever. And that is quite mean for us, because you are not giving us our gift that you were preparing for us. I mean, I'm very guilty of that, to be really honest. How many things could you have seen or read or heard from me, if only? Yeah, but I've become a bit gentler with myself. I've become more forgiving and more appreciative of my own work. I've been working with artists for so many years, and I didn't really listen to my own advice in that. I often say, oh, just try it out and go out there, see what happens, basically. And don't work on something forever until you can't see it anymore, or you start to hate it even, because you can't reach this whatever perfect point you want to achieve. And yeah, I've become braver now, and I mean, some of my songs are more than 15 years old, and I have only started to share them on my Patreon page this year, because I was always scared about what other people could say about it, that it's not good enough, that they are too cheesy or too naive or whatever. And actually, when I started to share them, all I really wanted was to move people, to touch people with my work. I didn't care, and I don't care what critiques might say about it. I'm not making my art for them. I'm making it for moving people, to change something in people, maybe in the tiniest way. That's all I want to achieve with my work, and nothing else. And you know what happened? During the lockdown, I've started to sing my songs also during the day. So my older son heard me sing my songs, and then later that day I heard him sing one of my songs, and then he said to me, I really love that song, Mommy. And that was before he knew that it was one of mine. So if he's the only one I moved and touched with my song, then that's enough for me. That's great. So I want to conclude this video with another quote by Elizabeth Gilbert, because I think she can sum things up so much better than I can do. And yeah, let's just listen to that. This stubbornness to say that I'd rather have it to be done than to die on the cross of perfectionism is what made me able to write my first books. And now I don't need to fight this battle anymore. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it with anyone who could benefit from this, and subscribe to my channel. We'll see each other very soon. Be creative, be brave, and share your work. Bye bye.